the Trevor Jackson podcast.
No, but the rules are pretty damn good rules. Let me give you an example.
Talk.
One of the most racist organizations in America at one time was the National Basketball Association, the NBA. The first brother to play in the NBA played for the Lakers. They hired him in 1947. He played football and ran track, but not basketball. His name was Don Barksdale, and he went to UCLA.
Yeah.
Now, when you think of basketball outside of management, LeBron, Kobe, Magic, Kareem, everybody's black, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't think of it as a white sport, do you?
I'm different though, Judge.
No, I'm saying outside of management, do you think it's a white sport?
No, it's not.
Okay. The rule book is essentially the same as it was when it was one of the most racist institutions of America. I mean, palming.
I see where you're going now.
Palming used to be a foul, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Steps, too many steps traveling. They don't call that much now.
They don't call the what is
palming,
that?
Yeah. But the rule book is the same. So is it a racist rule book, or was it just racist players and a racist league that now will bring in all the black folk? When you say the rules need to be changed, think of it as the NBA rule book. It hasn't changed much, but it's not the rule book. It's something else.
The rules don't need to be changed. You just got to learn how to play the game.
Exactly. So in Memphis, 65% of the prospective jurors are black. 60% of the judges are black. The chief of police is black. The fire chief is black. The sheriff's black, etc., etc. It's a lot of folk just need to learn how to play the game.
The rules don't need to. You said that. You said a mouthful right there. I appreciate that. I received that.
Yeah, that's called teaching.
Yeah. I learned something from that, Judge.
Thank you.
I'm thankful for that.
It's something's wrong with the picture, but it ain't the rule book. By the way, you know the Constitution doesn't mention the word black in it one time, nor do any of the amendments.
Why is that though? Because black doesn't exist, does it?
No, that's not what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
See, when they wrote the Constitution, there were two kind of people that were acting as slaves: indentured servants that did that by contract to be slaves for a fixed period of time, and those who had been brought over. So what the Constitution says is Article 1, for purposes of apportioning representation in the House of Representatives, a census shall be conducted every 10 years.
Okay.
For purposes of this article, 3/5 of all persons held in involuntary servitude or slavery shall be counted toward that number that determines the representation.
Mm-hmm.
You saw a version of it this last census when, remember all of that furor over whether or not you can ask somebody if they are a citizen.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was the fifth census
Mm-hmm.
I'd filled out as an adult over 21 in my life.
Yeah.
That's the only time they didn't ask whether I was a citizen or whether my parents were citizens and how they were citizens. Birth on American soil, by parentage, naturalization, or whatever. Why? Because if they're asking you in the census, contrary to California trying to say, well, you'll have people hiding, you don't get a true count. The purpose is so you couldn't determine their eligibility to vote.
the Trevor Jackson Podcast.